Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going, and expands our base. And that I try to remind you every single day. Very important. Let's get right to the news. So the tariffs are now in place, and there is a war going on between the United States and China. And it is a war of escalating importance. So I took a close look at what I have in my house that has been produced in China. Let me tell you something. Overwhelming. China, whether it's clothes or shoes or medications, doesn't matter. China has become an essential part of our trade and our lives. And what is happening? A disintegration of the relationship between the United States and China. But it's not just China. It's Europe as well. Frankly, it's the whole world. The president is so pleased that Japan and Korea and Israel and so many others are lighting up the phones in the White House to ask to make a deal. Doesn't Donald Trump understand the greatest deal that we have ever had is the stability of the last 80 years? I don't know what the outcome will be, but I can tell you that what Donald Trump is doing is horrific. Not only that, take a look at J.D. Vance. I had to listen not once, not twice, but 3 times to J.D. Vance talking about Chinese peasants. Can you believe it? Not since Spiro Agnew have we had a vice president of the United States who, well, there will no doubt be a book written on the quotable J.D. Vance. This is a tragedy because the vice president of the United States is simply raising the negatives in our negotiation, our discussion, our relationship with China. J.D. Vance has become a hero to the world for his absolutely ludicrous comments. I point this out because I want everyone to understand that J.D. Vance is a heartbeat away from becoming president of the United States. It's something to think about. And yesterday, a judge who, by the way, was nominated by Donald Trump to the bench, said that the expulsion of the Associated Press from the White House was and is unconstitutional. Now, yesterday, I made a radical suggestion. I said that articles of impeachment should be prepared by those in the House of Representatives, particularly among the Democrats, who oppose Donald Trump. And I got a lot of feedback. A lot of people saying, oh no, here you go down that rat hole again. No, I think a properly constructed, legally valid argument against Donald Trump is what needs to be made now. This is very important because history is being written, and how we respond historically is going to be so critical. And then, of course, there is June 14th, Flag Day. Now, we are told that Donald Trump, by the way, it happens to be his birthday. He will be 79 years old. Donald Trump wants a massive military parade in Washington, D.C., a celebration of American power, and I guess his birthday as well. And does anybody account for the fact that the last time he proposed this, during his first term, the costs were prohibitive, the damage of heavy equipment rumbling along the roads in Washington, D.C., all of that played into the fact that in the end, this so-called military might display, it was canned. By the way, who puts on demonstrations of military might? The Soviet Union did. The Iranians do. The North Koreans do. Why do we have to demonstrate with a parade military might? America has the most powerful military in the world. Just listen to Donald Trump, who trumpets that fact repeatedly. And yet, for some reason, the ceremony of a massive military demonstration with heavy equipment rumbling through the streets of Washington, D.C., seems to him to be a most important statement, particularly if that statement is made on his birthday. This is a moment when we need to deeply think about what we're doing. More than that, a group of senators, Democrats, I will grant you, have gotten together and introduced a resolution in the United States Senate to reclaim the Senate's power when it comes to imposing tariffs. Because you understand, constitutionally, and I believe this with every fiber of my being, a president cannot, by executive order, impose tariffs, nor should a president have the power to do that. And yet, the Republicans in the United States Senate, cowering in fear, and yes, abdicating their assigned responsibility, are now saying, let Donald Trump have his way. I want the American people to understand, I want all of us to understand, that the Republicans have abdicated their responsibility. They can no longer be called the party of fiscal conservatism. No, they aren't. They are rather a party in the Senate which has acceded to the requests, the demands, the imperial designs of Donald J. Trump. There is an imbalance in our democracy. And let me explain that it is not merely we in the United States who are feeling this imbalance. The whole world is reeling from what Donald Trump is doing. No president should be that powerful. No president should have the ability to wreak the kind of havoc that Donald J. Trump is wreaking today. Now, as I record these words, the market has not yet opened. But when the market opens, we will feel the implication and the wrath, not only of the world, but of our own people. Do you understand? Do I understand? Do the Republicans understand that we have reached a critical moment in the history of our republic? Are we a republic or a monarchy? Oh, yes. I've used that quote many times. The quote when Benjamin Franklin was asked the question as he left Constitution Hall. And Franklin responded to the woman who asked the question, "A republic, madam, if we can keep it." My friends, I believe we are now at a turning point where the question of the future of the republic hangs in the balance. It will remain a republic if we demand that it is. And as for the Republicans, their credibility is virtually shot. Will the American people respond with great vigor to the question of this attack on the essential powers of the United States of America and its Congress and its judiciary? These are real questions, and I ask them because they need to be posed. So let's get going. Let's make the list. Let's check it twice. And let the American people know that what Donald Trump is doing today is a great blow, not only to America, but to the world. He must be held accountable. And we must now make the case, vigorously, with power, and with directness. Fear must not be part of the equation. This is, after all, the United States of America. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand, which of course is our goal. And of course you can interact with me, as many of you do, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and of course by directly emailing me. And a special word of thanks to Gogo Zoger. She produces this podcast and does a great job. Gogo, thanks so much. And to all of you, I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. See you then.